Welcome to Beyond the Spotlight with Surya, powered by MydreamTVUSA and Mydream Magazine. This show isn't just about crowns or titles, it's about the journeys, the resilience, and the impact beyond the spotlight. I'm your host, Surya Bedi, president of MydreamTVUSA and editor in chief of Mydream Magazine. Through this platform, I've met extraordinary people, people whose stories go far beyond the stage. And to set the tone for his new journey, I couldn't think of a better guest. She is Mrs. Universe USA 2025, Amber Uhler. Hey Amber, how are you?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so delighted to be your first guest. I feel incredibly honored. My Dream TV has done so much for me, and it just continues to be an incredible ride. So I would definitely say doing the Mrs. Universe USA pageant was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. But how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, just working on the next steps. You could say all the new pageant winners, I would say the main focus of the brand is women empowerment, but of course, diversity is very important. I feel now we're taking the step towards building a more diverse stage and platform for other women to be a part of and kind of get opportunities. So I think we're going to be delving into all of that today, and I'm looking forward to it. But I feel we should start with a proper intro for you with all of your accomplishments, all the things you've done up till now. Your journey has just been amazing, and I would definitely want people to learn about it. Let's start from there. Amber is a two-time international TEDx speaker, a passionate advocate for swim safety, a proud mom of three. She's walked the runway at Tampa Bay Fashion Week, and most recently, she at My Dream New York Fashion Week in New York City. She's been featured in Canvas Rebel Magazine, My Dream Magazine. She supported causes like More Than Gold Gala for childhood cancer research, and she continues to inspire through her powerful story. And now, after crowning her successor here in the US, Amber is ready to represent our country at Mrs. Universe competition in the Philippines later this year. Finishing off with the final touch, she's also married to Jameson Euler, the seven-time Emmy Award-winning news anchor. Together, they're a family that knows both crowns and camera. Well, we're so happy to have you here today, Amber.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. I feel awesome now.
I'm glad you liked it. Trust me, it was a lot, but I feel like you really deserve it, and all the things you've done to promote the brand, to present the brand in such a professional and proper way. We're very excited for your next step at Mrs. Universe.
Which is I'm leaving in less than 48 hours for. I'm packed and ready to go. I'm wearing this outfit because I was like, well, should I take this one or not? And it was on my bed, and I was like, let's go. Let's get ready. Let's do the podcast.
That's
And
amazing. That's
I'm working on
amazing.
my costume and just like last minute details. And it's like, but I'm excited to take a few minutes out of my day and talk to you.
No, I'm so glad to have you here, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. But we're very excited for this next step, and we're all looking forward to it. I would say, Amber, let's start with this. What feels heavier, the crown on your head or the responsibility that comes with it?
I love The Crown. It's so beautiful. I remember when I was thinking of applying for Mrs. Universe USA, I called Rashmi, the director, and I said, are you going to have the same crown as last year? Because I really like it. And she said yes. So I printed out a little picture of myself and a picture of the crown and like tried to make them like the same size and like glued it on my head so that I could like visualize me winning. And so I really love The Crown. When I take it off for the final time, I think I'll probably cry big fat tears. But pageantry is really interesting because you spend so much time and so much thought and focus getting ready for pageant day, but that's really only one day. The other 364 days of the year are dedicated to the service, to your platform, to helping others and highlighting causes that are near and dear to the title holder's heart.
Of
That for
course.
me is swim safety and drowning prevention. When I was 5 years old, I was a non-fatal drowning victim. I drowned, and luckily my brother, who's 6 years older than me, saw me, dove in, saved my life, and I luckily did not succumb to my injuries. And so that's what I've highlighted a lot this year. But as you said in my introduction, I also do breast cancer awareness, the More Than Gold Gala, St. Jude. I have done well over 120 appearances as Mrs. USA. And to think that Mrs. Universe is coming up and then it'll be over is so bittersweet.
No, but I feel like it's been amazing the way you've represented the brand, the way you've kind of presented how women should be able to present themselves in market, but not just in a professional, but a dignified way. The way you're garnering respect and kind of from your peers as well as others. So I feel it's a very great journey until now, and we're really excited for Miss Universe, to be honest. I would say
Thank
I
you.
couldn't agree more with your answer. But the crown may sparkle on the spotlight, but it's a responsibility behind it that really makes it beautiful. So I feel like we're really proud of your journey. Up till
Thank
now,
you.
you've had such a whirlwind journey, walking runways like Tampa Bay Fashion Week and My Junior Fashion Week just a couple weeks ago, even attending galas like More Than Gold, being featured in Canvas Rebel magazine, and of course, carrying your title as Miss Universe USA. Out of all those experiences, what moment made you think, wow, I can't believe this is my life?
There's so many that's such a hard question. That's like choosing your favorite child. They're all my favorite for different reasons, but I just did a Make-A-Wish meet and greet with a 4-year-old girl who has a incurable brainstem cancer. And we're trying to get her into clinical trial research, and she's doing chemo and she's fighting, but she wanted to be a princess for a day. So I was at New York Fashion Week and did My Dream Fashion Week in New York City, and we arranged a time to meet. And her name is Izzy, and I got to meet her and put a crown on her. And then she got dolled up like a princess and went all over New York City. And she went to see Aladdin. And
Uh,
being part of somebody's day that maybe doesn't have that many days left
it's a lot.
was
A lot.
really touching that she would want to meet me. And so just having this opportunity and getting to try and spread light and joy has been the best part of all of it. But that is definitely something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. Meeting her and being 4 years old and she doesn't know what's going on and just trying to keep her spirits up and all she knows is that life's hard right now and praying for a cure and helping her try to get into some clinical trials. People don't know that my side job is clinical trial research. So it was actually super fortuitous, and I was able to get some contacts for her mother to try to get her into a couple clinical trials to see if we can't save her life.
Mhm. No, that's so heartbreaking, and I'm so happy that you're putting your time into this community service, activities that really make a difference in society. So I feel like that's what the pageant and the crown, and I would say the pageant process itself, that's kind of what it really promotes the experience and kind of putting that towards others and kind of making them feel that they're just as important as everyone else. So I feel like that's a really amazing that you did that. As well, I feel like if you ever heard John Cena, the WWE wrestler, he's actually a huge advocate for Make a Wish Foundation, and
He is. Yeah.
I think I may or may not be right about this, but he might hold the world record for the most wishes granted for Make a Wish
I think
Foundation.
he does.
Yep.
I think
So
he
that's
does. If
amazing.
they ever call me again, I will 100% be there. It was an incredible experience. I actually haven't even posted about it yet because it's like every time I try it, like gets me so emotional that that would be someone's wish to meet me is really unbelievable, and it makes me want to work that much harder to do this title justice and to be a beacon of light and hope and to be a great example for women empowerment, for girls, for what a queen should be. And so I take this title extremely seriously. People who know me know that it's all fun and games until I put my sash and crown on, and then it's work. It's real community involvement, engagement, work, and I do it because I love it. And sometimes I feel guilty because I feel like I go to these events, I go to these charities, I try to, help them raise money and at the end of the day I feel like I get so much out of it. Like I feel like I meet people, I get to help raise funds, I get to highlight causes, I get to help change laws, I get to meet little girls who don't have many days left and I feel so lucky and so fortunate to have gotten this title and to have really done my best to make the most of it.
Of course, and I feel like that's kind of the whole point of it, making sure you're able to not just provide yourself, but provide others a platform to present themselves, to get their journey and their story out there. It doesn't have to be out there through themselves. It could be through another. At the end of the day, it's the impact that matters. So I feel like that's amazing. And moving forward, and just recently, you crowned your successor, Shauna Kessler, Mrs. Universe USA 2026 in New Jersey, passing on the national crown while preparing to step on the international stage in the Philippines. What was the first thought that went into your mind about her journey in this upcoming year?
Shayna and I have known each other for at least 15 years. So I thought of her immediately and I said, "You should do Mrs. Universe USA." And she was like, "I would love to." She became Mrs. Florida. She worked so hard. She's an incredible queen. And there was a lot of really great competition at the pageant, and I didn't know how it was going to shake out. So when they announced her name, she was obviously surprised, but I was so surprised because I got to pass the title on to somebody who I consider a really incredible friend, someone who I know is a wonderful human being, and someone who I know is going to work really hard with the title and to do it justice for the year, and who, wants to do this to help better the lives of others and to highlight the causes that she's passionate about, which are different than the causes that I'm passionate about. So that's sort of something also that's really beautiful about pageantry is every year there's a new queen, and every year she's going to highlight something different, and her reign is going to look different than the queen before that. And so every queen's reign is like their fingerprint. And so I know she's going to have an incredible reign. I know she's going to highlight incredible causes, and I know that it's going to look different than my reign, and it's going to be beautiful and unique to her.
I agree. And I feel like that's really important. Each pageant queen, they should have their own journey, their own kind of like mark that they stood out. Because end of the day, we're not looking to replicate what's already been done. You want to make yourself stand out, make yourself kind of feel I've done something that's original. Because end of the day, that's what really creates value, in my opinion. I would
I
say
think so.
then taking back to your own crowning moment as Mrs. Universe USA 2025, cameras caught the celebration, but what was going through your head when your name was announced?
I didn't think I was going to win. I was really surprised. We had the top five on the stage, and then they did the third runner up, the second runner up, the first runner up, and it was down to me and one other girl, and she was beautiful and wonderful, and she did great on onstage question, and she had an incredible gown, and so I thought that I probably was fourth runner up, and so I was surprised and shocked. And if you've seen the video, I think that's pretty true. One thing about me is a lot of people might not know is that I used to weigh almost 300 pounds just about 4 years ago. I've lost 168 pounds in the last 4 years. And so sometimes I don't see myself the way other people see myself. I'm still shedding that image of myself at 300 pounds, for 5 or 6 years that I lived that. And so I didn't think that I was going to win. And
Oh,
so I think that's made me more grateful than ever, and why I hit this year so hard and worked so hard to have such a diligent reign where I really said yes to everything. Yes, I'll be in the parade. Yes, I'll go to the gala. Yes, I will come speak. Yes, I will talk to the kids. Yes, I'll read stories. I'll do anything you ask me. So I've just been very grateful.
no, of course. And I feel like the way your fitness journey, all the, you could say, parts of your journey itself, it kind of, I feel like, builds towards the hardship and kind of having to earn something versus just receiving it. Because I feel like that makes it more special and meaningful compared to if it's something you just kind of receive without having to do much work. You're not going to truly value it yourself. So I feel like that those little things are what really makes your one stands out. But
Yes,
on the other
I worked
hand,
really hard. Everybody missed it, but I worked really hard.
I feel like that's what it is usually. The hard work is what usually is behind the scenes. People just see the results, and obviously there's the good, there's the bad, there's the criticism, the appreciation. But I feel like both those things have to be in balance for you to really value your title. So I feel like at the end of the day, it all works out the way it should be. Moving forward, You've also been a part of many Mydream pageants and events, from state competitions, state pageants to our national productions, and of course, walking for us at our Mydream Fashion Week. How has this being part of the Mydream family shaped your experience as a title holder versus other things you've been a part of in your life?
Well, it's no secret I've done a couple other pageants before, and I absolutely have had the best experience of my life with Mydream, with the platform, with how they promote all the queens, with all the opportunities I've gotten. I've gotten to go to so many pageants. I've gotten to do New York Fashion Week. There was Miami Swim Week. There, I've gotten to be on the cover of their magazine. I'm doing this podcast now. So it's really a family. You really promote everyone. You give everyone opportunities. And I know when after I won, Rashmi, the director, called me and said, what do you want? What are your goals? Like, let's help you get there." And nobody had ever done that in pageantry before for me. Nobody had said, what are your goals? What do you want this year to look like? How can we help you get there? So that's been very unique. That's why I recruited so many girls for the pageant this year, because I was like, you guys are going to love it. You're going to have a great time. They're incredible. They're fair, they're fun, they're friendly, and it's there's no downside. And unfortunately in pageantry sometimes there are, sometimes, the goals don't align with the title holder and with the organization, and you see like a lot of queens step down. And I haven't seen anybody do anything but love Mydream and come back time and time again, which is a testament to the brand and how wonderful you all operate your business.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you to say that, and I feel like that's what really is important about in women empowerment led business. The women should feel it's a safe, protected, but engaging and fun environment where they're able to get away from their problems. Maybe they're looking for something to do in their life, something else to do besides just their career. Because end of the day, just like in college or high school, it's the extracurriculars that make you stand out. Because doing the status quo is something everyone else already is following. Making yourself stand out in other ways, I feel, is other things people can do. For example, in today's world, influencers, social media, these are really big. So I feel like the way the women are branded, able to make themselves stand out by this, like within each one, not just one single one. It's very important. It's really impressive. But at the heart of the My Dream, as you said, is my mom, Rashmi Bedi, and my dad, Surya Bedi. She's a CEO and he's a managing director, a dynamic duo. They built this platform for pageantry, fashion, and empowerment. What has it meant to for you to carry a title under their leadership and vision?
Oh, it's been incredible. It's been amazing. They're always available, ready to talk to me, ready to help me out, wanting to know what it is that I want to accomplish, how I would like to fill out my portfolio. Am I interested more in modeling? Am I interested more in speaking? Which, like, the answer is like speaking. I don't fancy myself a model, even though I got to do New York Fashion Week, which was like such a pinch me moment to go from 300 pounds to walking the runway at New York Fashion Week with an outfit that had like side cutouts. Like, what? My stomach was out. Like, oh my gosh. So
No,
it's been incredible, and their leadership is fantastic. And I would tell anybody who's considering this organization that you won't regret it. I know that I've had a fantastic time. It's all about me. I can't believe, like, do you guys do anything else but work on me and promote me and make me feel like a star? That's what it feels like. And so I just feel so fortunate and so happy to have made the decision that I made, because I was on the fence. I wasn't going to do the pageant, and at the last minute I called and said, can I still come? And they said, yes, come, like maybe like a week before the pageant. And so it changed my life.
no, we're very happy you made that decision. And like my mom's always saying, she loves the way you're always being a leader and kind of showing others how they can follow the same path you have. Because end of the day, knowledge is something that should be shared. End of the day, we're all here for a certain amount of time. So knowledge is something should be shared, and that's kind of how we can kind of have a presence in other people's lives as well. Moving forward, you've been very open with your fitness journey, and I kind of love the way you're very open with it. You're very kind of upfront, and I feel like that's kind of important in the social media age, where you're kind of living through it instead of kind of hiding away from those kinds of things. What's the biggest limit you've broken through on that journey, in your opinion? Like, what's been the most hardest part?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. Let's see. There's been so many. I can just remember that on January 1st, 2021, I wrote down that I wanted to compete in a beauty pageant. That was like my big goal. But when I wrote this down, you see this outer shell. When I wrote this down, I weighed 300 pounds almost, like a little shy of that. So it was a really wild goal. And I knew that if I wanted to really, I didn't want to just compete in a beauty pageant. Like I wanted to be a contender, right? I just didn't want to go and get last place. I wanted to go and like maybe place. My goal was to get top 8 or better
Yeah.
when I started this journey.
Mm.
And so writing that down was really wild and like almost hard to do. It felt like something I was just telling myself, but I was never going to do. But I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And then underneath it, I wrote lose 20 pounds question mark. And so then I did, and then I realized very quickly after like watching pageant tape and pageant runway walk and just like YouTube algorithm all pageant, and I was like, I'm gonna have to lose a little more than 20. And so just like the amount of time, it seems so fast now, but it took 3.5 years to lose 168
Amazing.
pounds. And
You went to
so
college, it feels like basically a 4 year.
I know I could have. I told my husband, I was like, if I ever gain a lot of weight again, I probably can't lose it again. Like, I'm just gonna have to keep it off because it was really hard. Like, even losing 5 pounds and keeping it off, people know it's so hard. And it's something I'm gonna have to work on the rest of my life. Like, I didn't get down and now it's just easy. I'm always going to have to, I'm just gonna naturally be like a person that can gain weight really easily. It's just like, physically how I was made by God, my creator. And so I'm always going to just have to watch what I eat. And it's going to be a forever journey, even though like I've kind of like made it to the top of Mount Everest, it feels like. So what was really hard is along the way, the huge derailments. So, I remember there was a time when I was like dieting really hard, and 2 weeks had gone by, and I got on the scale and I had gained a pound. And I just like cried, and it was just heartbroken, and I just like wanted to go eat a dozen Krispy Kremes and just quit. And I just said, like, you just got to keep going. So, like, I think the lesson is even when it seems like everything's going wrong and you might as well give up, just don't. Because never could I have imagined then that I would be where I am now. And if I would have given up when I wanted to, the 800 times I wanted to, I wouldn't have made it this far. And so I think just determination, dedication, and just really digging in and not giving up when the road gets hard has been my biggest lesson. And I really didn't ever I really just wanted to get top 8. I just never thought I was gonna make it this far. So it's like it's almost like unbelievable to me still.
No, of course, and I feel like it's very impressive how you're so dedicated day to day. It's not just a 1 day thing. You kind of treat every single day as it's important, making sure you're doing the right steps. And I always see that you're always promoting yourself, always engaging with your other contestants, as well as the new pageant winners in Florida. So I feel like it's all in all, it's really impressive, and we're really proud of you. Moving
Yeah.
forward on a deeper personal level, you've also had deeply personal experiences surviving a near drowning and then later saving a child. You turned those moments into a mission. How did they shape your voice as a swim safety advocate?
I like to say that I found pageantry like opposite. So I think a lot of times people find pageantry, they go through a little pageant, they love it, they get bit by the pageant bug, and then they're like, well, I need a platform. And I kind of had my platform.
Mm-hmm.
I had saved a child who was drowning in 2022. I was wanting to get legislation passed for swim lessons to be subsidized or discounted in Florida, which I later did get under the title of Mrs. Gulf Coast, which I picked because it had water in the title. And I realized like I wanted to bring more awareness to this cause. It's the number one cause of death for children 5 and under in Florida and 4 and under in the United States. It beats out car accidents, birth defects, cancer, everything that you can think of, and it's completely preventable through learning how to swim, barriers, supervision, and safeguarding and prevention. And so I was like, what can I do to bring awareness to this? And then it was like, well, I always did want to do that pageant, and I already have a platform. And so I brought the two together, and it's just been magical. I was able to get free swim lessons for children 4 and under in Florida. I'm working to get that nationally. I want to get that through the whole United States because how much money you make should never be a barrier to life-saving skills that kids need to learn. And I like to say that swimming should be every child's first sport because it's the only sport that can save your life.
Mhm.
And I see people put 2 and 3 year olds in soccer and dance class, but really swimming should be first because once you learn that skill, you're almost 90% less likely to die in a drowning accident if you just learn how to swim. If you were 90% likely to be successful by taking a pill, we would all do it.
Mhm.
So, like, let's get the kids swim lessons, get them water acclimated, and get this statistic to drop and one day not be the leading cause of death for children in the United States 4 and under.
No, that's amazing, and I feel like it's really like impressive how you're so passionate towards this subject and how you've taken steps towards basically educating others as well, not just others around you. So I feel like that's kind of what it takes for you to get a cause into it. It's like you could say mainstream kind of like light. So I think we're on that path, and I hope everyone hears about this as well.
Yeah, it's my first cinematic memory. I remember I fell off a pier into a lake and I was alone, but luckily my brother, who's maybe like 50 yards away, saw me and ran and somehow came and found me and was able to pull me out. But I remember sinking beneath like the murky green waves of the lake and just thinking as a 5 year old, my dad is going to be so mad at me. Like that was my last thought, and it was almost my last thought forever. So I'm so passionate about it because I know what it actually feels like to drown and be one of the few who comes back from that and makes it. And all my kids could swim before they were 2. They're like little fish. I took it so seriously. Like I remember I couldn't sleep at night once they could walk, and I was afraid because that the point when most drownings happen is right when kids begin to like toddle and walk around and you think you've still got them, but like they can actually get away from you a little better and a little more quickly than you think. And you turn around to like cut some apples and you look back and the little 1.5 year old 2 year old's not in their seat, and you go around and you start looking around the house. And what I want to tell people is whenever a child goes missing, look in all the bodies of water first, not last. Because what happens is people look out and they look at the pool and they don't see anything, so they think nobody that it's fine. And really drowning is not the way you see it like in the movie Jaws or something like that, or even on Baywatch where they're like yelling help help. It's not like that. They just sink very silently and very quickly and almost serenely beneath the surface, and they're just immobile at the bottom and they're not moving. It's not really thrashing or screaming. If you're really truly drowning, you can't yell for help. And so it's not how people envision it. I think they have like a little bit of a Hollywood idea of it. And so I always just say check the water first and foremost, especially like as quickly as possible because drowning can happen in less than 30 seconds.
Mhm. I feel like that's kind of how they say like the book isn't always the same as the movie. It's kind of like they're always describing it in much more detail than the book version. So I feel
Yeah,
like
the movie makes it. I mean, I drowned. I know that I just like went right under, and the child that I saved that was at a pool party, there was adults standing all around. Everybody was shocked when this happened because he just whoop slipped beneath the waves silently, quietly. I looked down and there's a child at the bottom, and I could tell he wasn't like down there playing.
mhm,
And so I dove in and saved him. And when I pulled him out, he was like limp and kind of green and purple, and it had to have been less than 20 seconds. And I laid him on his side and he started vomiting up white foam, which means he had inhaled water into his lungs. And so this was very serious. It was a very bad situation. And there were 10 adults standing around.
Wow.
That's how drowning
Wow.
really is, silently. I meet parents and families every week who lose their children to drowning accidents. And there was one family, it was a family of five. The mom and dad were in the pool, and the three kids were in the pool. And they turned around and were playing with one, and they turned back around, and one of the children had drowned and died while they were sitting right there. That's how silent and quickly and serenely it happens. And I say serenely not like it's happy, but like it's just this calm event. It's not help, oh my gosh, like and splashing. It's none of that. It's just and
Of course.
people don't realize that and they don't pay the attention that they should. That's why I launched the Water Watcher card with the National Drowning Prevention Alliance that went out in teachers' toolkits to all 50 states.
Oh
It's a
wow.
physical card and it says you're in charge of watching the water. Don't be on your phone, this, and that. Like you need to have no distractions. And if you need to take a break, you give this card to another adult and they're watching the water. And for some reason, having that physical reminder of how serious this is saving lives.
No, that's amazing. And as I said before, these actions are really what brings this basically this topic to a mainstream audience. So I feel like those kinds of things are very important, and the time you're putting in, I'm sure you'll see the results in very soon, if not now. But moving forward to back to on the pageantry side, as now you prepare for Mrs. Universe, how do you plan to bring that advocacy to the international stage in the Philippines and make yourself stand out as a representative for USA?
Well, the Philippines is an island nation, so swim safety and drowning prevention is definitely top of mind. But in some countries, swimming deaths are the number one cause of death for children 10 and under.
Mhm.
And a lot of times those are island nations. So that's an interesting and sad statistic. But the more water that's around, the more likely it is to happen. And this is a global issue. It's something that we're struggling with in all of our countries. And so I'm interested to get to Mrs. Universe to talk about it, to talk about, I did some statistics and have a little sheet of the drowning statistics for each nation that I'm going to be meeting. And so I'm excited to talk about it with them and to share it and see if there's anything that they can do back when they get home from Mrs. Universe to also bring attention to swim safety and drowning prevention.
I feel like that's amazing, and I feel like that could be maybe what makes you stand out as the next winner of Miss Universe. You know,
From your lips to God's ears.
I hope so. You already know. My focus is all the women in our brand have a professional, have basically you could say are getting to the next step in their careers in the pageantry side. It could be fashion, maybe it could be production. End of the day, we're looking for your dreams to be fulfilled, which is the name of the brand, My Dream TV USA. So correlates perfectly. Moving forward, between your reign as Miss Universe USA and Jameson's career as a seven-time Emmy winning anchor, you're both used to the spotlight. Do you ever compare notes about being in front of the cameras? Like, oh, my experience was like this. Someone said this to me. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stories. Like, wait, oh, this happened to me. One of those kinds of moments, like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah,
You ever seen that?
yes, we talk all the time. He helps me so much. I feel like we're a really good power couple and we help each other. He helps me with my media training you know, just being astute and aware of what's going on in the country and in the world is so important, especially if you're going to be a title holder. But I did shoot my Mrs. Universe 2-minute video and we wrote a script and we got a teleprompter and I had to read the teleprompter, which is what he had to do. And
Wow.
we will, he does every single day, right? He reads the teleprompter, then he'll talk to his co-anchor, and so I had to read the teleprompter for 2 minutes, and it was so stressful. I was like, I don't want to do this. This is so hard. How do you do this every day? And he's like, it's harder than it looks, right? And I'm like, it is
No,
so much harder than it
a lot of
looks.
pressure.
Yeah, good for him. For he doesn't even look like he's reading a teleprompter. And I was like, hello. I'm Amber Uhler, your Mrs. Universe. I was so mad. I was like, we gotta cut this. I have to memorize this. This is not my forte. And I was getting so frustrated. I was like, this is so hard. I can't do this. And he's like, you can do it. You can do it. You're sounding good. So he was cheering me on, but Reading a teleprompter is a lot harder than it looks. The people who do it on TV and don't look like they're reading are super talented and gifted and work really hard at their craft. I'm really great with appearances, and so I've definitely brought him into the fold and gotten him, some cool, fun experiences. And then he, of course, MCs a lot of events, and I get to go to those. So we're able to just help each other both elevate.
That's amazing. I feel like the way you're a dynamic duo, supporting each other, not being, say, jealous of the success, but if anything, appreciating and kind of enhancing it, kind of highlighting each other's successes. So I feel like that's what's really important for a relationship, a marriage. So I feel like that all these things correlate to
Well, he was the
my
star when I met him. I was just a little chunky girl. And so I was totally happy to, prop him up and him be in the spotlight. The spotlight's relatively newer for me, and he's really been there for me and just helped me navigate it and been my biggest fan and supporter. And it's so incredible for me that he is totally my biggest fan. And so yeah, it's just a really great opportunity for both of us to rise together.
of course. I feel like I completely agree, 100%. And I know being a mom, a proud mom of three is your biggest title. How do your kids see all this when they ask what their mom does? What do you think they say? Wears crowns, wears sashes, or on a professional vibe?
They know all about it. They know everything that's going on, and so does everyone else in this neighborhood. They come home from school and they're like, "My mom's famous. My mom's Mrs. USA." They're so proud of me. And sometimes I'll put on an outfit and they'll be like, "No, don't wear that." Like they have their opinions, and they're so proud and they think it's so cool and they think I'm such a celebrity and a star, and so do all their friends at school. So it's super cute and it's been a whole family affair.
And that's amazing. I feel like they must be so proud seeing their mom on stage, seeing her on TV, even on their social media when they're scrolling. So I feel like though all these things lead to them, being so proud.
Yeah, they're very interested in social media. They'll say, "How many views did it get?" And I'll say 40,000. And they'll say, "Put me up. How many views did I get?" Like, but I tell them that, it's not about the social media. It's not about the likes or the comments. It's really about helping people at the end of the day and being a good steward of your community. And like you said, passing on your knowledge and your skills and highlighting causes and being there and really helping others.
I agree. I feel like I completely agree with that. Moving forward, about your TEDx, you've done it twice internationally. What gave you more nerves, stepping onto the red dot or stepping onto the pageant stage?
The red dot. The red dot is scary because it's so illustrious. It's so sought after. Less than 1% of people who apply for a TED Talk get one, let alone two. So I felt so honored by that. But you also have 18 minutes to get out there and just talk and share your idea that is worth sharing to help educate others. And so that was a lot of stress and pressure. I prepared for it deeply. When I started my second TED Talk, they record them and it'll be up soon. And my earring, we did a run through rehearsal and I forgot to wear my earrings and I thought no big deal. And so on the day in front of like the whole audience, packed of people, I'd put on these earrings and like it kept clicking against my microphone and I
Oh my
didn't
god.
know it. I know. And so like 1 minute in, they're like, "We're gonna have to stop you. You're gonna have to start again. Your earrings are like making a reverb." And I was like, "Oh no, oh no." Like I was like in my flow. I had done good. So I took the earrings out and I said, "Okay, everybody, pretend you never heard any of this before and we're going to start again." And everybody laughed and I got the audience on my side. And then I got to like redo like from the beginning. And so that was like a make or break moment that could have went like good or bad. Like, "Oh no, we have to hear all this exactly again," like for the audience. But no, everybody was super supportive and I got a standing ovation. So it went well, but there's a lot of prep and intensity that go into your TED Talk, and it's uniquely you. It's your idea worth sharing. It's the thing you want to share with the world, and you can frame it however you want. So I must have refined my speech 800 times.
That's amazing. I feel like it's a lot of pressure, so that's really impressive that you put so much effort into it. I would say on like the closing move towards closing this. If we move forward 5 years, where do you see yourself? More crowns, more stages, maybe a new project where crowns and cameras meet with Jameson. What do you feel is the next step for you in the next 5 years?
Well, that's an interesting idea. I never thought of like a Crown Jameson podcast thingy, but that could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Where I see myself in 5 years is just further than I am now. I would love to write a book and a memoir when I slow down. I don't know how much pageantry is left in my future. I love it and I love the platform that you give, but I also know that winning a national title is really, really hard. It's hard to even win a state title.
Yeah.
People try 10, 12, 15 years and they never win a state title. So to have won Mrs. Florida, to win Mrs. USA, and then now going on to Mrs. Universe, fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, in 5 years, I find myself as a former Mrs. Universe who is still involved in pageantry, helping women find this dream and this platform because I do feel very, very passionately that opportunities for women are becoming less and not more. In this life, it's just a sad, cold, hard fact. And I really want to preserve the power of pageantry because it's something unique. It's something that helps women grow. It helps women have goals outside of themselves. It helps them feel proud
Yeah.
touting their own accomplishments. And we as women are taught so often like to diminish your accomplishments. Don't brag. Don't bring up all the things you've done. And pageantry sort of forces you, like in that interview room, if you don't go out there and say the things you've done and the things you're proud of and your accomplishments, someone else will. And so you learn really quickly to be proud of what you've done, to promote what you've done, to not let others try and diminish your sparkle. And I love pageantry because it helps especially married women find a passion for themselves outside of the family. So many women that I know and myself also, you have kids and then all of your goals become about your family, getting your child into the special daycare, making sure your child gets an A, your daughter making the cheerleading team. And like you stop focusing on you stop having goals for your own self. It's all for other people and for the good of the family. And so pageantry gives you an excuse to put yourself first and work on you. And so I definitely see myself in 5 years as a former Mrs. Universe, still working in pageantry, bringing women in to get them into this unique opportunity that gives them such an incredible platform, but also gives them goals and a reason to, to have fun and dress up and feel beautiful again.
And of course, my dream pageant queen, of course, is the main part that will.
Forever.
Before we close, let's do a quick rapid fire round. The pageant stage or the TEDx stage? Which one's tougher?
They're both so tough in their own different ways. I'm going to say the pageant stage is tougher because you have to be well-rounded. You have to walk in a gown, walk in a costume, answer an onstage question. You think on your feet. At least at the TEDx stage, you can be rehearsed and practice and maybe even have a teleprompter. So pageant stage is harder.
I would say, personally, I feel like either one is a really tough job, and I feel like you've done an amazing job at both of those parts. So I feel like you've done an equally amazing job on both. So thank you so much. Moving forward, Miami Beach or New York?
I love Florida so much that I became its queen, but I think New York is the greatest city in the world. It has Broadway, it has the Rockettes, it has New York Fashion Week, and it's just a melting pot. They call it the crossroads of America, and that really warms my heart. So, New York.
No, I feel like I'm biased because I live close to New York, so I feel like I kind of agree. But Miami is definitely a vibe, and I would say Miami is definitely a huge market, and for us as a brand, is definitely Florida as a whole, as a state, is a huge part of the next step for the brand. So I feel like all of our Florida winners are just the right place, right direction, right time. Moving forward, one thing people will be surprised to know about you.
That I don't get nervous when I go on stage. I feel like if I fall, if I trip, if I say the wrong thing, I'm still just me at the end of the day. We're all just people. We're all having fun. And so I think that I actually do well because for whatever reason, I don't get that nervous. I didn't get that nervous at the TED Talk.
Mhm.
Probably the most nervous I've been is at Mrs. USA, and I would say like I was still probably pretty chill. So I think that's something surprising about me is that for whatever reason, I get energized by the crowd. I get excited by it, but I don't feel like doom or fear. I feel like excitement and joy and fun.
I feel like that's because you're also very down to earth. You see the highs that this journey and this kind of entertainment brand and this kind of entertainment industry can take you, but it's always good to remain close to your loved ones and kind of have a, I would say, very stable, not just stable, kind of very forward thinking with this type of work. Moving forward to the last question. And finally, your message to everyone cheering you on as you head to Mrs. Universe.
Oh, I've had the opportunity to have incredible sponsors. I have My Dream TV backing me. I have Lux Style LLC clothing me. I got my smile enhanced by Dr. Marshall Hansen and my med spa, Pommier Med Spa. I just want to thank all of them, but also my husband and my mom who are like out there right now rhinestoning my costume, and my kids who are so supportive of me, and all my friends and family who've just cheered me on into this journey that I was probably the least likely beauty queen on planet Earth. And like nobody laughed when I said I wanted to do this. They all just supported me. And when I got this crazy idea, it was almost laughable. And so the fact that everyone's just been so supportive of me and embraced me and been positive and excited for me and helped me out. Former queens have reached out. They've let me borrow clothes from Mrs. Universe. I borrowed clothes from a former Mrs. World, from Shayna, our new queen, from Katrina, another queen. So everybody's just been wonderful. And I'm just so grateful.
Well,
And I hope I can do you all proud.
of course. Well, we're already very proud of you, and this is just icing on the cake, I would say. I would say, Amber, your story proves that a crown is more than just a title. It's about resilience, purpose, and creating an impact. Thank you so much for joining me here on Beyond the Spotlight with Surya. On behalf of MydreamTV USA and Mydream Magazine, under the leadership of Surya Bedi and Surya Bedi, we're very proud of you to have you a part of this family. We'll be cheering you on as you represent the United States and Miss Universe USA in the Philippines. I'm Surya Bedi. Thank you for watching and see you next time on Beyond the
Thank
Spotlight with Surya.
you.
Thank you so much, Amber. See ya.
Bye, Surya. Thank you.